Okay, let's talk about something, a feeling I bet a lot of you know way too well. It's that magnetic pull, right? The one you feel for someone who just keeps you guessing. It's this wild mix of intoxicating and just incredibly painful. So, in this explainer, we're going to decode the powerful psychology behind why it's so darn hard to walk away from a love that's so unpredictable. Just listen to this. Sometimes he shows up loving, sometimes he vanishes. She stayed anyway. Wow. I mean, that one sentence, it just captures the entire emotional puzzle, doesn't it? It's that whiplash you feel between them being there and then just gone. Between all that warmth and then complete silence. That's what creates such a powerful and honestly, a really confusing bond. So, yeah, that really begs the question, why? Why is a love that's so hot and cold, so completely unpredictable? Why is that the one that's the hardest to leave? It makes no sense on the surface, right? You'd think it'd be the easiest. Well, it turns out there's a very specific, and I mean very powerful, psychological reason for it all. All right, so this whole feeling, it isn't just random emotional chaos. Nope, it's actually a recognized pattern. And to really get a grip on it, we've got to give it a name. So let's talk about the hot and cold. And here it is. This is the big one, the crucial term you need to know, intermittent reinforcement. So what is it? Well, it's a pattern where rewards, and we're talking about things like affection, attention, even just a text message or a kind word, are given completely unpredictably, totally random. And this is key. They're always mixed in with periods of withdrawal, of silence, of just nothing. This is basically the clinical name for that hot and cold roller coaster. And when you put it side by side with something healthy, the difference is, well, it's stark. On one hand, you've got consistent support. The good stuff is predictable. And what does that do? It builds security. It builds trust. But then you have intermittent reinforcement. The rewards are totally random. And the result of that, it's not trust. It's anxiety, and here's the kicker, addiction. So, how exactly does this pattern hijack our brains? What's going on in there? Well, the answer lies in something called the slot machine effect. And yeah, it's exactly how your brain gets hooked. Now, this is so important to understand. If you've been in this situation, it is not a failure of your character, it's not a lack of willpower. Your brain is literally, and I mean literally, playing a game it was neurologically designed to lose. It's a totally predictable process, a glitch in our own wiring that this pattern takes advantage of. And here's the perfect analogy. This whole thing works on the exact same principle that makes slot machines in Vegas so unbelievably addictive. Seriously. Think about it. A slot machine doesn't pay out every time you pull the lever. It doesn't even pay out on a schedule you can figure out. It just pays out randomly. And that randomness, that's the secret sauce. It's the hope of the next win, the sheer unpredictability of it that keeps you standing there pulling that lever again and again. See, your brain gets a much bigger dopamine rush from a surprise reward than from when it knows is coming. So it's not actually the love or affection itself that's so addictive. It's that crazy, dizzying hope that it might show up at any second. And all of this creates this vicious, powerful, addictive cycle. Let's break it down. First, the reward appears. You get that moment of affection, that connection. Then boom, just as fast, it vanishes. It's withdrawn. And what happens next? A craving is created inside you. It's this messy mix of hope and anxiety. And that craving, it leads you to chase the next win. So you stay, you wait, you hope, all for the chance it might happen again. And every single time you go through this loop, the cycle just gets stronger and stronger. Okay. So if we're stuck playing a game we're literally hardwired to lose, how in the world do we get out? The answer is actually pretty simple. You have to stop playing the game altogether. It's time to take back control. All right, the defense strategy is, on paper, incredibly simple. Now, that doesn't mean it's easy, but it is simple. It's just 2 steps. Step 1, you have to recognize the pattern. You've got to be able to see the game for what it really is, to call out those unpredictable rewards and the anxiety they're causing you. Once you can see it clearly, then you can move to step 2, refuse to play. This is a conscious choice. You choose to disengage from the game. And honestly, if you take one thing away from all of this, let it be this. When you're dealing with intermittent reinforcement, the only winning move is not to play. Walking away is not losing, it's winning. It's you refusing to participate in a rigged game. It is the ultimate act of taking back your own power. So we'll leave you with this thought. Yeah, the pattern is incredibly powerful. But you know what's also powerful?
knowledge. And now you have it. You know the rules of the game that's been playing out in your brain. So the only real question left is, how are you going to change the game?